The President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, led on Thursday a meeting of the High Command of the Bolivarian Revolution with the officials elected on the regional and legislative elections of May 25th. In Argentina, workers of the Garrahan Pediatric Hospital rallied to the Ministry of Health to denounce the critical situation of the country's main pediatric center. The Palestinian death toll from the Israeli genocide in the Gaza Strip has risen to 54,249, with 123,492 others wounded. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, led on Thursday a meeting of the High Command of the Bolivarian Revolution with the officials elected on the regional and legislative elections of May 25th, with the presence of Vice President Delcy Rodriguez as well as ministers and other high-ranking officials. The meeting highlighted the work of the elected officials in their territories. For this, the Venezuelan president congratulated the governors for their victory and assured the entirety of the government cabinet is at their service to ensure the needs of their communities are met. Furthermore, the head of state highlighted how the results signify the rebirth of a new union for all Venezuelans without discrimination or distinction, a new age that can only be achieved through revolution.
Y el pueblo está de pie.
And the people are standing, happy, working. Every time Chavismo wins, there is happiness, peace and tranquility in Venezuela. When the ultra-right and the extremism half raises its head and feels a little bit of power, they think this is the moment to play a joke on the country. But no, those times are behind us. Here, what is coming is times of stability, harmony, happiness, hard work, and many actual results for the country's prosperity.
President Nicolás Maduro stressed that despite the difficulties and destabilization attempts promoted by the Venezuelan extreme right wing, the revolution has been able to maintain itself and work for the development and progress of the country.
It's not about a victory. No, it is about a road that we are building, that we are working on jointly, a road that has ups and downs. But it has been demonstrated that the Bolivarian Revolution has the capacity to navigate, as the admirals here present would say.
The government of Venezuela assured that the oil fields are in full production in association with international companies in spite of the U.S. sanctions and revocation of licenses. During the inauguration of a Fede Industria 2025 Expo, the Executive Vice President Delcy Rodriguez affirmed that this event shows the cohesion and productive unity in the country. Also, Rodriguez pointed out that Venezuela has strategic plans to become a productive country with diversification without independence on oil income, proved by the 13 engines activated throughout the national territory and which have provided results during 16 consecutive quarters of economic recovery. In turn, Rodriguez pointed out that all the transnational oil companies continue operating in the country, emphasizing that Venezuela does not recognize the revocation of licenses. At the same time, he assured that the national production is maintained at 1 million barrels per day.
We came from a process of economic recovery from an economy that was, as we have said, in intensive care. The economy woke up and we have had 16 consecutive quarters of growth and economic recovery. There it is, those are our charts, 16 consecutive quarters of economic recovery.
Rodriguez also said that PDVSA continues to produce in alliance with international oil companies despite the unilateral coercive measures imposed against Venezuela.
The fields Petroboscán, Petropiar, Petroindependencia, Petrojunín, Petrosucre, Petroquiriquire, Petroregional del Lago, and Cardón 4 are in full production. The workers of PDVSA are maintaining their production plan despite the fact that both PDVSA and Partner B are victims of unilateral coercive measures. In the case of Venezuela, you know this because of the anti-blockade law and because in our constitution we do not recognize any jurisdiction other than the jurisdiction of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
A new flight arrived from Mexico with 315 Venezuelan migrants as part of the Back to the Homeland plan promoted by the Bolivarian government. The Ministry of Interior, Justice and Peace informed that the group of nationals who arrived at the Simón Bolívar International Airport in La Guaira state included 95 women, 74 men, 80 girls and 66 boys. After arriving at the airport, the authorities provided the corresponding health and legal security protocols. This initiative also offers psychosocial support to help all compatriots to cope with the difficulties faced by the migrant community abroad, marked by the policy of xenophobia and criminalization against Venezuelans by the Trump administration in complicity with the Venezuelan fascist far right. Colombian social and political groups continue for the second day a national strike in support of the referendum promoted by Gustavo Petro's government. Those mobilized carried out sit-ins, rallies and diverse cultural events in support of the government and the popular consultation. During the day, an open town meeting will take place in Bogota at Bolivar Square, which is constitutionally recognized process of debate among a group of citizens. The 48-hour national strike began on Wednesday with rallies in several of the most important cities of the country, such as Medellín, Cali, Barranquilla, Bucaramanga, Tunja, and Bogota. In this context, the 48-hour national strike aims to support the social reforms promoted by the government of Gustavo Petro. The strike action demands the approval of the popular consultation and denounces the actions of the oligarchic right wing that seeks to stop political and social changes. According to the United Workers Central, next June 11th, there will be another national strike accompanied by 4 big caravans to Cali, Medellín, Barranquilla, and Bogota. And now we have a short break coming up, but first remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and more. We'll be right back, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Argentina, workers of the Garrahan Pediatric Hospital rallied to the Ministry of Health to denounce the critical situation of the country's main pediatric center. The demonstration was led by resident doctors, nurses and technical staff, who also denounced the insufficient salaries, loss of professionals and shortage of supplies. The Association of Professionals and Technicians of Garrahan had filed a criminal complaint against the hospital authorities, which were appointed by the Minister of Health and President Milei for breach of duty as a public official and abandonment of patients. Several sectors in Argentina are also in conflict due to the fiscal adjustment of the current administration and the loss of the salaries' purchasing power.
Today we are marching for a salary increase. We have lost approximately 60% of our salary since last year, and we started mobilizations last year without any response, and today we are mobilizing again in front of the ministry to ask them to take care of the health personnel and to give them a decent salary to be able to continue working in the public health system.
My son, Luciano, is a patient at Garrahan. He has cerebral paralysis, and the truth is that we are supporting the residents because what they pay them is unfair for all that they do for our children every day, for all the work they do. We know firsthand everything they work for deserves a fair wage. They deserve to be well off so that they can take care of our children in the best way and with the love that they always do.
In Mexico, the electoral silence came into force ahead of Sunday's June 1st judicial elections. The National Electoral Institute reported that citizens may reflect on the direction of their vote during this time. In the next 3 days, authorities do not allow the holding or broadcasting of meetings or public acts of campaigning. Citizens are summoned to the polls to elect positions in the Supreme Court of Justice, magistrates of the Court of Judicial Discipline, Superior Chamber of the Electoral Tribunal, and of the regional chambers of the Electoral Tribunal of the Federal Judicial Power, circuits, district judges, and positions in local judicial powers. The government of Bolivia approved by decree a corn and rice production program for food sustainability for the next 5 years. The Ministry of Rural Development and Lands announced that the support program guarantees the raw material procurement for the work of 9 industrial grain plants, with which they cover the production of 268,000 tons of corn and 78,000 tons of rice. According to data from the institution, so far in 2025, corn production has increased by 22%, while rice production has increased by 38%. The president of Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, handed over a housing settlement in the south of the country for landless families belonging to the Landless Workers Movement, MST. The head of state, accompanied by a group of ministers, handed over the land in the municipality of Ortigueira, located in the region of Campos Gerais, Paraná. The settlement, comprising up to 10,000 hectares, was set up so that more than 1,600 families can settle and expand their agricultural and livestock production. Now, under the name of Maila Sabrina, the MST, in view of their struggle and resistance, described the handover as a victory for both the community and the MST. The 29th edition of the United Nations Model of the University of Havana, Half Moon 2025, is underway in the Cuban capital. The event was attended by many students from higher education institutions across the country who discussed topics such as human rights, the call for a world free of nuclear weapons, and the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. The Cuban Association of the United Nations and the University Student Federation have been developing these activities since 1996, where students strengthen their knowledge of international law and the functioning of multilateral organizations such as the United Nations. In Vietnam, the government warns over the importance of natural disaster prevention as the rainy season begins. Authorities registered at least 29 dead or missing people since the beginning of 2025 in natural disasters. In a statement, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh called on ministries to keep emergency personnel focused on responding to the risk and effects of heavy rains. Disaster Management Services confirmed that in 2025, landslides destroyed at least 67 houses and affected more than 2,300 buildings. Strong winds and heavy rains over the past 2 days have caused severe flooding in several parts of Romania. According to emergency services, hundreds of people have been evacuated from Covasna and Brasov counties in the central part of the country and from Botasani in the northeast. Authorities informed that floods were threatening to destroy an old salt mine in Praid in the central Romania. The mine hosts beautiful galleries and a religious chapel and is an important tourist attraction, selling 500,000 tickets yearly. Weather officials forecast more rainfall in the coming days over parts of northern Romania. On Wednesday, the collapse of the Berg Glacier partially destroyed the Alpine village of Blatten in Switzerland's southern Wallis region. The collapse sent tons of rock and ice down the mountain slope and into the valley below, largely destroying the small town which had been home to 300 people and was evacuated last week due to the impending danger. In the aftermath, Swiss authorities were monitoring for possible flood risk in a southern valley and declared a local state of emergency after the glacier debris blocked the river Lonza. In this context, no injured were reported, but search operations have been suspended for a person believed in the affected zone at the time. Swiss glaciers have been severely impacted by climate change, losing in total about 10% of their volume. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Financial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Palestinian death toll from the Israeli genocide in the Gaza Strip has risen to 54,249, with 123,492 others wounded. According to an official statement issued by the Palestinian health authorities, almost 4,000 Palestinians have been killed and over 11,400 injured since Israel resumed intensive airstrikes on March 18th. The document also said that 67 Palestinians have been killed and 179 others injured in Israeli military operations during the past 24 hours alone. On the other hand, local media sources and eyewitnesses reported Thursday that the Zionist army launched a drone strike against a group of people at one of the busiest areas in central Gaza City, killing at least 10 Palestinians and injured dozens of others. The civil defense in the Gaza Strip denounced the Israeli occupation forces for launching attacks with prohibited weapons against the Al-Bureij refugee camp in central Gaza, where they killed at least 23 Palestinians. The spokesman for civil defense in the Gaza Strip, Mahmoud Basal, also stated that during the Israeli attacks, some Palestinians were injured. Health authorities denounced Israel for the destruction of the health system, hospitals and healthcare centers, in addition to condemning the shortage of supplies and medicines following Israel's blockade and restrictions. Since October 7, 2023, the number of killings has risen to more than 54,249 and the number of injuries to more than 123,492. In the United States, on Thursday, students, faculty and activists held a demonstration outside Harvard University's commencement ceremony to condemn Israel's genocide in Gaza. Demonstrators lined the sidewalk of Massachusetts Avenue in Boston, carrying flags and signs protesting U.S. support of Israel amid its genocidal campaign in Palestine. Organized by local branches of several larger pro-Palestine organizations, the mobilization also condemned Harvard's ties to the Zionist regime. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok as well. For teleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.